Okay, so today we have an extremely easy assignment. First of all, you can put your name at the top and whatever the date is. And then we're going to be doing slope-intercept form. That means you only have to know two things for this lesson, the slope and the y-intercept. So up here at the top of your page, next to where you wrote your name, we are going to write what the slope-intercept form of the line is. So with your pencil right now, we're going to put y equals mx plus b. And we're going to draw some arrows. So from slope, draw an arrow to your m. That's our slope. Our intercept, we're going to draw an arrow right there, pointing to the b. So we have a form of an equation of a line with a slope and an intercept. So down here, for these first ones, it says write the slope-intercept form. I mean, it's got to look like this, of the equation of each line, and they're going to give you the slope and the y-intercept. The only two things that you need to do this. So here's how it's going to go. Number one, y equals, remember how we found slope and it's the one right next to the x? So that's where you're going to put your slope. Right up next to the x, plus my y-intercept, -4. If you want, right here, instead of doing plus a negative, you could put minus. Either way it works. On to the next one. Y equals, put my slope next to my x. My y-intercept is 1. Slope, intercept, form. That's it. So, on this one, y equals, put my slope next to my x. If it's a y-intercept of 0, you could put plus 0, but that would be silly because we don't really need to specify plus 0, do we? No. So we're going to leave it just like that. So you have 4 through 10. I bet you can do those very quickly. So moving on to these next ones. The instructions that we have on our page say, write the slope-intercept form of the equation of each line. That means you will need to find the slope of the line and the y-intercept of the line. Remember when I said you need two things? That's what you got to find. So on here, I already know for number 11, I'm going to have y equals, and I'm going to have a number that goes next to my x, plus another thing. If you wanted to, we could, even though it's slope-intercept form, we could do the y-intercept first. So we want to know where is this diagonal line going to cross our y-axis. So it looks like it crosses right here. So that would be 1, 2, at 3. So plus 3 is positive. Now we have to figure out what our slope is. I already know it's negative. I can see that, and it looks like I got points. Maybe here and here, so fall 1. And then I'm going to crawl 2. That's my equation for my line. Y equals -1/2 x plus 3. My slope and my y-intercept. So, moving on to number 12. Y equals, so here let's do our slope first. I have a point here, and I have a point here. It's positive, so I'm going to rise 2, run 1. Oh, I see that that's something that could be simplified. I could erase, but it might look messy and take up some time, so I'm going to cross that. Y equals 2x, my slope goes next to my x, plus my y-intercept. So I'm going to look for where it crosses the y-axis. Looks like -1. If you wanted to, you could write that means the same thing. Plus a negative, minus a positive. On to number 13. We'll do one more because I know that you guys just love having some answers already done for you. Y equals, if you want to, you could be really ambitious right now. You could pause the video. You could try this one on your own, and then you could go back and play the video and see if you got the answer correct. But I can't pause it for you on your Chromebook right now. So y equals a slope. I need some points. So this one Looks good. These don't really get very close, so going back down this way, I think this one's my next point. So I rise 1, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, and it is positive. Rise over run. My x goes up next to my slope. And then my y-intercept looks like it's going to cross the y. It's going to intercept the y-axis right here at positive 1. That's it. So you're writing the equation in slope-intercept form. So you got to find a slope, got to find an intercept, and then you're writing it in this style like we wrote on the top of our page. Slope goes here, y-intercept goes here. That's why we keep these arrows. It's like I had you do something that was on purpose. Okay, turn it over to the next page. On the bottom, these other ones on the back, 15, 16, 17, 18, are just like where you got to find a slope and a y-intercept. So you can write your equation. Please say something different. Oh no. Sketch the graph of each line. So instead of writing the equation, they've already given us the equation, and we are going to have to sketch it. So start on these. You're going to start with your, if you want to write it in right here, start with y-intercept, because we have to do the slope either rise and run or fall and crawl from an actual point. So we got to start with someplace. So I can see right here either plus a negative, or you can group that whole thing together. We have a -3 here, so that's where it's going to cross the y-axis. That's my y-intercept. Now this tells me I'm going to fall and crawl because I got a negative right there. Okay, so I'm going to fall 1, and then my legs are broken because I fell, and I have to crawl 2. So that is my slope. If you want to do another one, fall 1, crawl 2. And then because you had a ruler handy, and Miss Lawrence doesn't because she forgot to grab one before she started making this video, you will line up your ruler, connect your dots. Here's the deal. This says sketch the graph of each line. This is not a line. It may look straightish like a line, but it's not a line until you got some of these on it. I'm going to count off for it if it doesn't have arrows. On your test that you take in your other class, you're going to get counted off if you don't have arrows. It doesn't take that long. It's not a line without it, so go ahead and just make sure you put them on there. Okay, one more and then you got the rest to do on the last page by yourself. But it's okay because I believe in you and you can do it. Okay, start with our y-intercept, so we have to have a place to go from. Oh no! There's nothing there. I hope that some of you are saying in your head, well, that's because it is +0, Miss Lawrence. Of course, they just left it off because it would just be better to be written that way. Because you are so smart. That's a true story. Okay, so if there's nothing for your y-intercept, it means that's because it is 0, and it's going to go right through the origin. Now, there is something that happens in front of a variable if there's not another number there. And somebody in my 5th hour gave me a really awesome idea. It is a ghost 1. It can be there and it can go away sometimes. So there's a 1 there. So really my slope is -1. So if we're going to use a whole number, anything that's a whole number as a slope is going to be itself over 1. So there's my fall and crawl in this case. It's not rise and run, it's negative. So from here I'm going to fall 1, crawl 1. Like that. Fall 1, crawl 1, fall 1, crawl 1. You could go on forever and ever and ever. But I think 3 is, 4, I did 4, is a pretty good place to start. So I'm going to connect mine with my not ruler, but you guys all have a ruler because you got one off the supply board, like it says in the can. Okay, it's not done yet because it needs arrows. So I have a line. I've done my points. I use my y-intercept, and I use the slope to then do rise and run or fall and crawl. If you turn over to the next page, Just a hint, like on number 22, right here, this one, this as a slope would be -2 over 1. There's your fall and crawl. Or if it was positive, it would be something over 1 as your rise would be your whole number and your run would be 1. Just a helpful hint, you know, when you get there. Okay, thanks.